Hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of Healing Sessions. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 steps to help you activate your intuition. So, in the last video, we talked about some of the blocks for intuition. Today, we're going to be talking about some very specific things that you can do to improve and increase your intuition. So to start this off, I think the first thing that I want you to know is that this is not something special that only the few can accomplish. This is not a mutant power that it takes a special gene to do. Intuition is something that every human alive has access to. In fact, we have access to our intuition since we're born. I mean, if you think about it, if you have kids or if you've been around kids, kids are so smart. They're intuitive. They're paying attention to things that human or grown-ups, humans, grown-ups aren't necessarily paying attention to. And as we grow, a lot of times we block our own intuition. I know we talked a little bit about how we can do that. So now we're going to be talking about very specific things that we can do now in our adult life as we are wiser now, how to activate this intuition. Okay, so jumping right into it. Number 1, the first thing to keep in mind is to be open minded, to be receptive to whatever communications that your intuition gives you. I think sometimes when we're working with our intuition, I think we try too hard. We're trying to force it too much. And the key is to be in a very relaxed, open minded, receptive state of mind so that intuition finds you instead of you pushing it, instead of forcing it. Understand that the human brain is this supercomputer that's taking in as much as 20 million bits of data per second. And our conscious mind is only aware of up to 40 pieces. Way too often, we are not fully activating our intuition because we're staying in that small chunk of I know, and we're trying to fit intuition in to that little nugget of conscious awareness, of conscious knowledge. And intuition is big. Intuition is huge. And so the first thing to do is stop thinking. Just let yourself be open-minded and be receptive so that the intuition can find you. Don't try so hard. You'll see a little bit later as we go through some of these other steps why that's important, okay? So be open-minded. That's step number 1. Number 2, being in the moment. I say that because I know that some people have a hard time with the word meditation. They have a hard time with the word meditate. And if you want to activate your intuition, being in the moment, meditating is something you are definitely going to want to learn how to do. If you've never done any sort of meditation before, it could be probably a little bit frustrating. It could be a little bit hard. There's millions of videos about how to meditate. I think everybody's opinion or their preconceived notion of meditating is that you're just supposed to sit there and think of nothing. That is really difficult. So we're not necessarily, and you're not going to be able to accomplish that right away. This is a skill. So when we talk about meditation, what the first steps that you're going to want to do is eliminate outside distractions so that you can think, so that you can be in your head. 99% of our day, we are in the outside world. We're doing things, we're talking, we're going, we're working, we're thinking about the past, we're planning the future. We are anywhere but in the moment. We are anywhere but in our mind. A lot of times when somebody sits down to meditate, the first thing that they'll complain about is that their brain starts going bing, 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 and they're thinking all these other thoughts and they're doing all of that. Meditation, your objective with this word meditation is to control the thoughts so that they're not like 1 million ping pong balls going in every separate direction. It's difficult to activate intuition and pay attention to the messages of the intuition when you've got all these thoughts running around. So meditation is a skill. It's like learning how to drive a car, you know? Most of the time, our brain is just on autopilot. It's like having our car on cruise control. That doesn't work so well. We have to look when your car is on cruise control, there's only so long. I mean, you can't just like lay down and take a nap. You're on cruise control, but you still have to brake. You have to move the car. You have to slow down. You have to speed up. Unfortunately, when it comes to our mind, we are on cruise control and we're asleep at the wheel, kind of. So meditation is the practice of taking control of your mind and being able to harness the thoughts so that you can slow down, be in the moment, not be thinking about what you're doing later or what you've done in the past, but you can be sitting in the moment. And that's where intuition exists. That's where intuition resides, is in the moment. When you can cultivate this skill, there will be other skills that will build off of that too. If you're interested in manifesting, law of attraction, creating your future, all of those are also kind of like subsets of meditation. And in order to do that, you're going to need to have to be able to control your thoughts and live in the moment. So number 2 for activating your intuition is slowing down, being in the moment, and meditation is the key. Meditation is the map that gets you there. Also, you know what? Make some comments if you're interested in meditation videos. Lots and lots of my clients on a weekly basis, I walk them through guided meditations. Guided meditations is a really good way to start learning how to control those thoughts. So if there's enough interest in that, I'd be happy to do meditation videos too. So drop a comment if that's something you might be interested in, because I'd be willing to do a series on that too if there's enough interest. Okay. Step number 3 is tune into your body. What the heck does that mean? Okay, this is what it means. What it means is our intuition doesn't always have vocabulary, okay? This is a function of the unconscious mind. Remember, we've got these nuggets, these 40 thoughts that are conscious. The unconscious mind has 40,000 processed thoughts, and the brain is taking in millions and millions of bits of data. So as we're talking about all of this unconscious information that we have, that unconscious part of our mind doesn't always have a bell. It doesn't always have a ring. It doesn't always have a way to communicate with us other than body signals. Okay. So in order to start activating our intuition, well, you know what? The truth is your intuition is already activated. This step is actually teaching you how to pay attention to it, how to listen when your intuition is communicating to you. So there's 5 different ways that our intuition can communicate with us. The first one is through a feeling. It could be a body sensation. Our vocabulary is also familiar with this because a lot of times we'll say things like, I just knew it in my heart, or I felt it. It was like a punch to my gut. Our body is physically giving us communications, and tuning into our body so that we can listen to, we can feel, we can hear when our intuition is talking to us is super, super important. And this does take a little bit of practice. So the ways that the unconscious mind is going to communicate to you is it's either going to be a feeling. Some people are better at visuals. So sometimes intuition can come in the way in the method of pictures, some sort of visual image. Okay. Some people are a lot more auditory. In those people, intuition might sound like a voice, either your own voice or somebody else's voice. The voice doesn't really matter. It's just your intuition communicating with you. So you've got feelings, body sensations, any sort of visual communication that you might have, something that you might see, whether it's pictures, scenes, something along those lines. And there's the auditory, the voice. You just heard the voice that said something to you. The other less common ones too, there are some people whose intuition communicates with smells. I don't personally, my intuition doesn't communicate with me that way, but I do know people who have a very strong sense of smell when their intuition is trying to get their attention. And taste. There are other people who whose body uses taste. How can you practice then tuning into your body and listening to your intuition? Well, here's some easy things that you can do. How about try visualizing something that you would like to eat? I teach this strategy a lot with people who are working on diet and weight loss, and your body intuitively knows what you need to eat. So when I'm working in a diet frame, I will frequently tell people, okay, imagine eating that cheeseburger, imagine eating that double whopper. Imagine what it feels like as it goes into your stomach. And now pay attention to your body's communication. What is your intuition telling you? What is the response that your body would give you after that? And most of the time people will say, you know what, I feel like a heaviness in my stomach or something like that. That is your body communicating that that's not what it wants. So visualize, eating a salad with grilled chicken breast or something like that. Imagine eating that and notice your body's response. That is a great way to start testing your intuition responding back to you. Another fun way that you can start being more in tune with your body and your natural intuition is practice saying statements to yourself and recognizing how it feels or what you hear or what it looks like. For example, say a statement that is true. For example, I am a woman. Notice how your body feels when something is true. I live on a mountain in Ecuador. I have 3 dogs. Now, everybody's intuition is going to be a little bit different. So when I say something that I know to be true, see, and I'm matching what I consciously know with with the unconscious, because I want to learn to pay attention to when my body is saying yes and when my intuition is saying no. So when I say something that's true, I get a feeling like through my chest. It's kind of a calmness through my chest. It's kind of like this really solid feeling of congruency. It feels very congruent. Now you can contrast that by saying something that's a lie. So if I were to say, I'm a strong man, immediately I get kind of like a feeling in my stomach that goes, what are you talking about? I can feel it in my stomach. And a lot of times I will get audios too, or visual. You might get all 3. As soon as you start really getting in tune with how your intuition is communicating with you, and you start recognizing these signals in yourself, you might get multiple ways of communicating. So kind of start practicing that. Practice when you say something that's true, notice how your body responds. And when you say something that's not true, notice the difference. Okay? Then as you go about your daily life, notice, hey, wait a second, somebody said this. How is my body responding? And we intuitively know things when we don't consciously know we know, right? You might know when somebody's lying. You don't know how you know, but you guessed. And it's not because you're all that smart. Well, you might be very smart, but it's also because your intuition is giving you red flags. It's giving you feelings. It's giving you tingly sensations, whatever it is that your body is doing. So the more you're in tune with your body, what's a yes, what's a no, what's truth, what's a lie. That is a huge way to start being able to not just activate, but pay attention when your intuition is talking to you. All right, tip number 4, ask yourself. Intuition isn't always just I'm driving down the road and there's this lightning bolt of, oh my God, I know this all of a sudden. Okay. Intuition is something that applies constantly, and we can learn how to direct it. Okay. And you direct it by the use of asking yourself questions. So as you're sitting, practicing your meditations, as you're sitting, practicing noticing true and false statements, ask about the specific subject that you would like your unconscious mind to give you information on. So things like, what? Is this a good career move for me? Is this a good career move for me? And then go back to the last step, which is tuning into your body. If you're already able to recognize what's yes and what's no, as you ask yourself these questions, is this a good relationship? Is this a good career move? Is this a wise investment? Pay attention. Are you getting a yes? Does it feel good? Are you getting visuals that match that? Okay. So asking before you go to sleep too. I know we're specifically talking about consciously activating our intuition, but keep in mind that your brain is working even when you're asleep. Sometimes if you can meditate, if you can think about the topic that you'd like more insight on before you go to bed, that kind of gives you might actually notice that you wake up with some really good answers. Okay. So either asking yourself during your meditations, ask before you go to sleep, be specific about the categories that you're looking for help on with your intuition. Okay, the final point that we're going to cover today is take action. Listen. When your intuition says something, start listening. The reason our intuition can sometimes get shut down is because we shut it off. We stopped listening. We talked about how intuitive kids are, how they just seem to know things sometimes, and somehow we seem to kind of grow out of that for a while, and now we're trying to activate it again. A lot of times what's happened is we didn't pay attention. How many times did you say, dang it, I knew it. I knew it. I should have listened, right? When we shut down our intuition, it's not as likely to communicate to us as strongly. So with this step number 5, taking action, remember, we are rebuilding a relationship with ourselves, with our unconscious mind. We are saying to ourselves, hey, you know what? I'm going to trust my higher intuition. I'm going to trust that this is the right thing to do, even if it doesn't make logical sense. So in the beginning, maybe you just get this feeling, or you just get this hit, you just get this vision, whatever, however your intuition is speaking to you, that you should take a different route to work today. Just do it. Do it. Okay. If you just have this hit that, oh, you know what? I need to buy this brand of canned tomatoes. Pay attention. Pay attention to those communications. It is a split-second communication, especially in the beginning. Our intuition in the beginning, as we're creating this relationship, it's not going to, grab you by the throat, smack you around, and insist. These are going to be very, very, very mild communications, usually in the beginning, as you're activating your intuition. So when you get that intuitive hit, do it. Pay attention to it. Especially if it's the little things, especially if it's something really small, like taking a different route to work, talking about a specific subject. If you're in a grocery store and your intuition says, say hi to that person, follow those intuitions, follow those hits, because you're developing a rapport with yourself. You're building a relationship here, and that requires some trust. especially in the beginning. I think a lot of those hits that we get on our intuition, they might seem a little bit silly. So do it anyway, especially because it's silly, you know? You have to learn to trust your intuition, and sometimes those baby steps are how you get there. Because when it comes to the big things, if we haven't learned to trust ourselves in the small things, we're not going to trust ourselves on the big things. I'm sure you probably can come up with a bunch of different examples too. I mean, I know that when I got married the first time, there were red flags everywhere. I mean, I can't even say that it was necessarily my intuition. I mean, it was a horrible idea right from the very beginning, right? And I remember talking to somebody about it before, and I was like, yeah, this is just a bad idea. I don't know. Well, and they would say, well, what is wrong? Where's the logic? What are the reasons? And I go, I don't know. It's just a feeling. Well, you can't make decisions based off of feelings. So I didn't. I went ahead and I went through with it, and it was one of the biggest mistakes of my life. But you see, when you don't know how to trust your intuition with the small things, how are you going to trust it when your intuition is screaming something at you and it matters? So pay attention. When you start having doubts, I know in the last video we talked about one of the intuition blockers is our self-doubt, our negative self-talk, our, I don't know, is this really true? You know, the barrage of negative thoughts. Building on the small things is super, super, super important. Okay. All right. So the couple of things that we've covered today are to activate your intuition, stay open-minded, be receptive, don't try so hard. Let your intuition find you instead of being out there searching. Sometimes when we're working with our intuition, we're like, tell me. And that's not the way intuition works. To activate our intuition, we have to be open-minded and receptive to the answers that we get. Step number 2, learn to like that word meditation, being in the moment, because intuition is in the moment. It's not in the past. It's not in the future. It's not on the outside. It's not in all of those crazy billion to-do lists that's in our brain. It is in the moment. And if you can learn to control your thoughts, even if it's only for 2 minutes at a time, that is going to be your superpower. And with that superpower, not only will you be able to activate intuition, but then you can build on bigger skills too, like manifesting, law of attraction, creating your universe, creating your reality. And you have to have mental control to do that. So meditation is step number 2. And like I said before, if you would like meditation videos, please leave a comment, because I do that with clients a lot. And if there's enough people that are interested, I'd be happy to do a series of meditation videos too. Step number 3, practice tuning into your body. Practice paying attention to how is your body communicating? How is your intuition communicating? Is it a feeling? Is it a sound? Is it a voice? Is it a visual? And cultivate that, okay? The next thing is ask. Be specific about what it is that you would like more knowledge on. What are the red flags? What is my intuition? Is this a go or is this a no for this specific incident? That kind of allows your intuition to hone in on whatever information that your brain is receiving with regards to that specific topic, and it can sort and give you that information very specifically. The final tip that we're going to cover today is listen, take action. When your intuition gives you a communication, pay attention. Because when you can build that trust on small steps, when it matters more, you'll have built that trust with yourself, and it'll be easier to start paying attention in the bigger things. Okay, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Please feel free to share this video. Drop me a comment if there's any other topics that you're interested in. Let me know, and I will talk to you soon. Okay? All right, talk to you later. Mwah. Bye.